Welcome back to another Level Up Health video. In this video, we're going over the top 12 foods that make anxiety and depression worse. But before we jump into this, make sure you subscribe to the channel as I'm always dropping new and exciting content to better your health. Thanks guys. Now make sure you stick around for number 1 as it has the biggest impact on your mental health when it comes to reducing anxiety and depression. Let's get started. Number 12. Canned soup. Avoid processed foods at all costs, explains certified nutritionist Trudy Scott, author of the Anti-Anxiety Food Solution. The food you choose shouldn't have labels, and if they do, they shouldn't read like a chemistry experiment, she adds. Even the packaging of convenience foods may be a cause for and cause of concern. Bisphenol A, or BPA, a chemical used in most canned food liners and plastic containers, can throw off important mood-stabilizing neurotransmitters by significantly altering genes in the stress-mediating portion of the brain. A previous study found children exposed to BPA in early childhood were more likely to have anxiety issues, according to researchers at University of California, Berkeley. Number 11. Wheat Bran. Touted by health experts and foodies for impressive fiber content and complex, as well as nutty flavor, Wheat Bran gets a black mark in the anti-anxiety department for its notoriously high concentration of phytic acid. This anti-nutrient binds to important mood minerals like zinc and limits their absorption. Adequate levels of zinc are especially important for anxious people, as deficiencies are common and have shown to induce anxious behavior and depression. Soaking and cooking can help reduce the anti-nutrient, which is found primarily in whole grains and dried beans. So make the extra step a staple of your kitchen when preparing rice, oatmeal, soups, and stews. Number 10. Soy sauce. If you're sensitive to gluten, soy sauce and other gluten-heavy products can really wreak havoc on your digestive system and overall health. We can only partially digest gluten, which can lead to gut irritation and immune and allergic reactions. And while gluten is a serious irritant akin to poison for those suffering from celiac disease, Psychology Today reports on some studies linking depression and gluten in patients who aren't suffering from the condition. A 2012 study out of Oslo University Hospital showed that a group of human subjects that was consuming gluten after 6 weeks of a gluten-free diet reported 90% more depression as a result, compared to the control group that stayed gluten-free. Number 9. Processed foods. Processed foods are the perfect storm of several things that can be problematic to your overall health. They're high in sodium and sugar and pave the way for an inflammatory response in the body. As reported in an article by Psychiatric Times, the correlation between depression and inflammation has received a lot of attention in recent years. And although not every patient suffering from depression shows signs of inflammation in the body, studies have shown that inflammation has a direct effect on the brain and behavior. It can negatively affect the areas of the brain responsible for motivation and motor activity, as well as areas that control arousal, anxiety, and alarm. Number 8. Caffeine. There are plenty of experts who will tell you that even a modest amount of caffeine can contribute to depression, and at least one study has found that among healthy college students, moderate and high coffee drinkers scored higher on a depression scale than others. The reason most experts cite is caffeine's disruptive effect on sleep. Coffee and black tea make it more difficult to fall asleep and to stay asleep. Sleep is connected to mood, and disturbed sleep can seriously mess with your mental state. The one drink to avoid at all costs if you plan on going to bed anytime in the next 24 hours, energy drinks. Some types have the caffeine equivalent of 14 cans of soda. Number 7. High sodium foods. For decades, fat-free foods have been touted as being a weight loss solution, but many of these products contain mini mountains of sodium. Experts say that all that extra salt can totally futz with your emotions because the extra sodium in these products can disrupt aspects of your neurological system. Not only can this directly contribute to depression, but it can also monkey with your immune system response and cause fatigue. An overtaxed body is a way to invite disruption to your emotional state. And, of course, an excess of salt also leads to fluid retention and bloating. Like many of the foods on this list, salt can contribute to weight gain, resulting in a negative body image and snowballing depression even further. Number 6. Trans fats. Trans fats is a name given to unsaturated fats that don't usually occur in whole foods. Only in the 1950s did trans fats become commonly used in things like margarine, snack food, packaged baked goods, and oils used to fry fast food. Consuming artery-clogging trans fats can increase your risk of depression by as much as 48%, according to a study published in PLOS One. Conversely, plenty of studies have shown that a Mediterranean diet, which is traditionally utilizing olive oil rather than trans fats, can lower the risk of numerous health conditions, including depression. Number 5. Fast food. It's cheap, it's easy, and it's tasty. But once you factor in the changes it can make to your physical and mental well-being, the true price of that cheap stuff gets steep real fast. According to a 2012 study in the journal Public Health Nutrition, people who eat fast food are 51% more likely to develop depression than those who don't. To clarify, when I say fast food, I'm talking about hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, and commercial baked goods. Eating a small portion of any one food is unlikely to raise depression risk, but if you see Ronald, Wendy, the Colonel, or Popeye on a regular basis, a dramatic dietary adjustment would be a great step towards feeling healthier and less depression. Number 4. Hydrogenated oil. A few examples such as fried chicken, fried cheese sticks, fried calamari, and french fries all cause trouble for your body for a variety of reasons and can negatively affect your weight. But there's more. They are also linked to depression. Deep frying is usually done in partially hydrogenated oil. Hydrogenation is a process that turns vegetable oil into a more solid form, which makes it a more shelf-stable product. Anything that is cooked with hydrogenated oils and contains trans fats could potentially contribute to depression. Saturated fats, like the ones found in deli meats, high-fat dairy, and butter can clog arteries and prevent blood flow to the brain. And optimal brain function is what you want if you're trying to fight off the blues. Number 3. Alcohol. Your central nervous system is important, to put it lightly. It's responsible for taking in information via senses, thinking, understanding, reasoning, and controlling motor function. You'll note that all of these things are in a scant supply as the night wears on at your local watering hole. That's because alcohol is a depressant, and more specifically, depresses the working order of the central nervous system. Oh, and the central nervous system controls how we process emotions too. Bottom line, booze is a little too efficient at exacerbating symptoms associated with depression. If you cut back on drinking, you may be amazed by what happens to your body when you give up alcohol. Number 2. Artificial sweeteners. Don't think that just because sugar is out, that artificial sweeteners will enable you and can humor your sweet tooth without elevating your risk of depression. Aspartame, the common and dangerous ingredient that's found in products like diet soda, blocks the production of the neurotransmitter serotonin. This can cause all manner of neural maladies, including headaches, insomnia, changes in mood, and yes, depression. But it's not just aspartame. NutraSweet or Equal may also be bad for your mental well-being. Number 1. Sugar. Sugar has a very strong association with depression. A 2015 study of postmenopausal women demonstrated that an increase in added sugar in their diet was associated with an increased likelihood of depression. In the past, scientists weren't sure why depression, diabetes, and dementia seem to cluster in epidemiological studies, or why having one of these health issues increased your risk for the others. But in a study published by the journal Diabetology, researchers have found that when blood glucose levels are elevated, levels of a protein that encourage the growth of neurons and synapses drops. In translation, the simple act of eating sugar makes your brain work at a suboptimal level. And the more you do it, the greater your risk of depression and the greater your risk of diabetes and dementia too. That's it for this video on the top 12 foods that make anxiety and depression worse. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe as it helps the channel grow, which is always appreciated. Thanks guys. See you in the next video.